Assalamu alaikum. Hello, welcome back to our channel. We are the Muslim Family Adventures. Today's topic is a self-development topic. Before we get started, if you can please press the subscribe button. We love that you're here watching us and joining our family and joining our adventures, joining our personal development, and all the things that are important to us to help build a high-functioning, high-vibration family. So please press the subscribe button. Greatly appreciated. Join the family, join the fun. We have great topics from travel, adventure, to personal development and Islam, and anything that together helps build a high-functioning family. So today's topic is an important one. It is complaining harmful or beneficial? So this is something that we discuss a lot within our family, and what is the point of complaining, what is the purpose of complaining, and what do trials and tests actually teach us. So this is a very important topic for us, and I hope that this will be beneficial to you. That is complaining a good habit? Is complaining something that you should be doing on a regular basis? So what we've after discussing it with our family and doing some research on it, we've come to the conclusion that complaining is actually more harmful than it is beneficial. There are moments where complaining can help and benefit you, and I will talk about those, but 90% of the time, complaining is actually more harmful. And it's not only harmful to the people around you, but actually to yourself. So it's really harmful to you if you are in a complaining mindset constantly and constantly just seeing the negative in any situation. So the biggest thing I want to say is no one really likes to be around complainers. It makes people uncomfortable. And when people are complaining and venting and ranting, after a certain point, if it's something that's a continuous habit, it makes people uncomfortable, and they actually avoid that person. And if you wonder why is that? When someone is constantly complaining or in a mindset of complaining, why is that person, why do people try to avoid them? It's because it's literally, complaining is a toxic, like, energy dumping. You're unloading your energy, your negative energy, onto somebody else. So somebody else might be having a perfectly positive, wonderful day, and you're unloading onto them, sometimes without even them wanting to be unloaded off onto. They have not agreed to this energy exchange, and you just verbal diarrhea, and you are complaining, ranting, talking about how everything is bad for you and everything is terrible going on for you. All the people in your life are terrible, your circumstances are terrible, and all those things. And so basically it's a toxic energy exchange, and it's not even an exchange, it's more of a dumping onto the other person. But is all complaining bad? We'll talk about that later on. But I kind of wanted to go into, why do people complain? So why do people complain, vent, rant? Why do people do that? I've come up with like 3 different ideas of why I think people do it. And they may or may not resonate with you. So, feel free to let me know in the comments if you think that there's other reasons why people complain. All right, so the first reason I think people complain is to feel important. People want to be seen and heard and validated for their feelings, and complaining is an easy way. It's an easy way to get the floor, grasp people's attention, and unfortunately to basically pull out sympathy from people and have the floor. You have the floor. When you start complaining, people aren't really going to cut you off, and it's rude. So people aren't going to cut you off, and you have the floor, and you can begin your story of how everything's terrible, how everything's horrible, and that's how you have people. You think you have people hooked, but really, I'll talk about why that isn't the case. The number 2 reason I think people complain, so the first reason is to feel important, and this is something that you have to really go inside and really think that, why am I complaining? And the base to all of this is, I think it comes down to, is you're trying to feel important. You're trying to create a relationship with somebody, but it's not based off of the right things. It's based off of something that's very negative and very toxic. The number 2 reason I think people complain is to get somebody's feedback. and somebody's advice. So really, if this is the reason that you are complaining to this person sitting in front of you, and this is the sole reason that you want their feedback, you want their advice, then you better make sure that that person in front of you is someone that you look up to, someone who has been in the situation that you are, or a similar situation that you have been in, and they have a solution for you. It's not someone who's sitting in the same sitting in the same problem as you, but they are also sitting in that problem. They're not able to move forward with it. That person sitting in front of you, who you are going to complain to, this person, it should be someone who is above you, someone who you look at as a role model. So whether it's complaining about finances, complaining about relationships, complaining about work, complaining about any other aspect in your life, kids, whatever it is, first think of this person. Is this person a role model, someone that I look up to, someone who can give me feedback and advice, and something that's going to benefit the exchange versus me just complaining for no reason. So the way I look at it is, if I need advice and I'm in a situation and I'm looking for feedback and advice, I will choose 2 to 3 people max who I feel like are above me, who have more experience, or who are professionals, or somebody who's in a similar problem and they have overcome that problem. I will choose these 2 or 3 people to get advice from, or seek or complain to them, so that I can seek some type of feedback. And that way I can, from the 2 or 3 people that I have shared my problem or issue with, I will then take the good from these 2 or 3 people. I will get the advice from them, and then I will, based on my exact circumstance, I will formulate a decision or a solution to my problem. And so I'm a very solution-oriented person, that if there's a problem, I'm always seeking the solution. I believe that there is a solution for almost everything, and when things don't have a solution, that's when I let it go. And that's that's the second type of person that's the second reason why someone complains, is to actually get a solution to their problems and get feedback and advice. But be sure that you're choosing somebody who is above you as a role model, or someone you look up to, someone with more wisdom, someone with more experience, or someone who's a professional. The third reason why people complain. So the first reason we said is to feel important. The second reason is to get feedback or advice. And the third reason that people complain is sometimes people want change, or people want justice. And this isn't really complaining. This is actually problem solving as well. So this is when someone wants justice or change, the way to go about complaining in this case is to go directly to the source with a plan or a solution in place. You don't need to cry to everybody else around you, and because that comes into the category number 1, where it's just complaining with no solution, no outcome. You're just complaining just to be heard and just to be seen. So if you are complaining for justice, and I say complaining with quotes because I don't think that's complaining, I think it's more of seeking justice, seeking change, then you go directly to the source of the problem, the root to the problem, and you go with a plan. You don't cry to everybody around you. You go into problem solving mode, where you lay out the complaint, you lay out the problem, and you propose a solution, and you kind of negotiate a solution with the other party. So that's the third reason I think why people complain. But again, I don't think this is a complaint. All right, so when people really go into introspective and introspectively, and go see, really look at the reason of, why am I complaining? Why am I venting to somebody? Why am I ranting? And if you really evaluate yourself and you see that you are complaining for no reason, actually, you don't want a solution, you don't want to find, to problem solve, you are kind of complaining for no reason, then really think about it, because this isn't going to negatively impact that other person that you are off leashing or unloading onto. It's actually going to affect yourself too. What it does is it creates, if this becomes a habit, that you are a constant complainer, you're a chronic complainer, you will develop a very negative and a very, very bitter persona. And even though you'll want to feel like you're being heard or seen, or you're appreciated, or you want to feel important, what actually ends up happening is sometimes the opposite happens. Once this becomes a part of your personality, that you're a chronic complainer, everything is negative, everything is bitter, everything is terrible in your life, what ends up actually happening is the opposite. You will attract negative things into your life. You will keep attracting misery, and you'll wonder, why is everything so terrible? Because it's the way you are putting yourself out into the world, that if you are putting out negativity in the world, you're only going to get negativity back. And so misery will keep coming your way. And the opposite happens. And people don't want to be in your company when you're a chronic complainer. People will resent you. They will try to avoid you. Because at the end of the day, everybody has their own issues and their own problems that they're walking around in the world with. And everybody is so focused on their own problem-solving ladder that they are so worried about, okay, because every single day, we're hit with tests and trials, and whether it's at work or in relationships or with kids or whatever it is, everybody has their own tests coming their way. And so for someone to take out time to help you, my perception is people really want to help other people. They're not there to just waste time, and complaining is wasting time. So at the end of the day, if you're a chronic complainer and everything is seen with a negative lens, you're hurting yourself more than you're hurting the people around you. Because what ends up happening is people don't really care. People are so worried about their own issues and their own problems that they don't really care when you are constantly like, this is bad and that's terrible and this is terrible and that's terrible. It's because it's a waste of their time. You're not seeking a solution. You're just trying to be seen and heard. And I feel like this is a kind of a lazy way out to feel seen or heard. There's many other ways to feel appreciated, seen, and heard if that's what you're seeking. But complaining is not the right way to do that. With every decision that we make in our life, and every, it impacts us in one way or another, whether we like to think it or not. And I know sometimes we just want to relax and be ourselves, or whatever it is that, we want to get with girlfriends and vent and complain or whatever. But at the end of the day, what it does is it creates a negative spiral downwards. And so everybody's on their own journey, and every decision that we make is either going to move us up the ladder or it's going to move us down the ladder. And I think complaining is one of those habits that moves you down the ladder, unfortunately. It's a low vibrational habit. It affects your own brain negatively. It makes you very judgmental, and it makes you, it creates this lens in front of your eyes that everything is negative and everything is bad in the world. So everything you see will be misery. I mean, you see two people holding hands, walking down the road, and I've heard people say, "Oh, it's their husband is the wife is forcing the husband to hold her hand," and that just speaks about a reflection of your own mindset and your own judgmental mindset, that maybe they're really in love, and maybe they're really seeking comfort with each other, and maybe they have, in Arabic it's love and mercy, rahma and hub, with each other. That's what a husband-wife relationship should be, and maybe that's the reason they're holding hands. But if you are seeing that as, oh, the wife is forcing the husband to hold her hand, unfortunately that's the way that just shows that that's your lens with how you see things and how you perceive things, is because you're probably a chronic complainer, and over time everything looks negative and bad to you, that it's, instead of finding the positive in the situation, which it's 100% positive when a husband and wife are holding hands, you find the 0.01 negative aspect in it that could possibly be the reason, but it's 100% positive. So anyways, so understand that, also understand that when you are around a chronic complainer, someone who is constantly complaining, they will rub off on you. So be very careful with who you are around. Misery loves company, and so the people that are around you will affect you. So in Islam, we have sayings where if you are around a blacksmith, the soot of the blacksmith, the soot of the machinery and everything will get onto your clothes when you walk out of there. And if you're around a perfume seller, the smell of the shop and the perfumes all mixing in the shop will come into your clothes when you walk out of there. So even if you didn't buy the perfume, even if you didn't buy anything at the blacksmith's shop, thinking that I'm not like them, I'm not gonna be like that, it will affect you. It will affect you. Being around people who are chronically complaining, chronically negative, chronically in misery, it will affect you. So especially if you have a personality of absorbing a lot. Some people have a personality of absorbing everyone's what other people put out there, everyone's energies. So you need to be very careful with who you're around. So you need to be very guarded in terms of the company you keep and the people you're around. You want to be around positive environments. You want to purposely put yourself and consciously put yourself into environments of happiness and fun and growth and being uplifted, whether it's motivational talks on YouTube, whether it's being around people who are and friends and, you know, adults or whoever, company, you know, for me, it's my father. He's a very, very positive person, and you be constantly, it's almost like a recharge your batteries. Like, you need to be around people who are constantly uplifting you and constantly making you feel positive. And at the end of the day, like, you can't change anybody. You can only change yourself. Only change yourself. And if you're a parent, then you are responsible for building your kids' personality and for guiding them to, you know, to show them what's positive, what's good, what's wrong, what's, you know, what's negative. And so it's your responsibility. So you are in charge of yourself, and if you're a mother or a father, you're in charge of your children, and building their personality. And so in personal development, I would say, when it comes to, if you notice that you're in an environment of complaining, try your best to ma salama, assalamu alaikum, I'm out. So as humans, you know, we know that God puts us through trials and tribulations and gives us tests. I don't think he gives us those tests so that we can see if we can complain better. I think he gives us those tests to see if we can be more patient and more grateful, so that when there's a night, there's a day, right? We know that after hardship comes ease. We know that after night comes morning. These are all signs in nature for us to reflect and realize that not everything is going to be butterfly and roses, right? Not everything's going to be perfect in the world, not all the time. But there will be times where there's bad, so that we can appreciate the good, right? There's times where there's darkness, so we can appreciate the light. We can be like, thank you, God, so much for this beautiful light and this beautiful day and this beautiful ease. So these are, so if your baseline is positive, no matter what hardship you go through, no matter what difficulty, and there are so many difficulties that people go through, and sometimes it's helpful to put in perspective that, yes, what I'm going through is very difficult, but there are things, and I know sometimes people get annoyed when you tell them, oh, there's people that are in more hardship than you, than this and this, and people get annoyed with that. But at the end of the day, I think our religion actually teaches us to do that, to see that there are so many different hardships in the world. That's the reason we give to the needy. That's the reason we give to the poor. We help, we're generous for that exact reason, is so we're more, and we fast so that we can feel like the poor. We can appreciate the needy. We can appreciate the things that God has given us, so that when it's taken away from us, we know what it feels like to have it back. And so I don't think that God gives us these tests and these trials to see if we can complain better, and we can keep complaining and stay in misery and just keep that cycle going. So yes, the hardship's over, but the misery stays, because we're going to keep talking about it and keep complaining it, keep triggering our brain with that trauma that we've already surpassed, even though we're not in it at the moment. So I think that's what complaining is keep on triggering yourself to keep reliving the trauma that you might have gone through. And yes, there are hardships in life. Doesn't mean you need to stay there. It doesn't mean that needs to be your baseline and that's your normal. Your normal should be patience, positivity, gratitude, so that when hardships come, you are able to get out of those hardships and get back to your baseline and go above and keep moving up. So if you evaluate that you are complaining to be seen, to be heard, to be appreciated, or whatever it is that you are complaining for, find a better way. Find a better way to be validated, if that's what it is, or seen and heard by your loved ones. Possibly switch it up and maybe for a month, try 30 days of, like, anytime you feel like complaining, nope, no, I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it, just to rewire your brain so that you don't need to complain about things that don't exist and complain about things that happened in the past and you're not in right now. So find a way to maybe for 30 days, like, not complain, and maybe train your brain, rewire your thinking if you are a chronic complainer, and find ways to be for your family to appreciate you by being a source of hope, maybe be a source of love, maybe be a source of upliftment, encouragement, motivation. There's so many different ways to be seen and appreciated and heard. maybe uplift someone's your family member spiritually, be a source of spiritual guidance for your family, be a source of smiles for your family, or be someone who, one thing that works for me is I'm usually the one who's yelling yay and woohoo and all that. And so I feel like that's one of the ways that I uplift all the people around me, where it's something exciting happens and I'm usually the one who's like woohoo and yay, and everyone's like, okay, let's be happy too. So that's a way of uplifting people around me in my relationships. And that's such a simple, fun way to do it. And so people are like, okay, yeah, let's all be happy now, because, you know, that's my way of just a very simple way of just uplifting people around me rather than finding the negativity in everything. So yeah, and that energy exchange, when it's positive, it actually relaxes the other person. So like, for example, I said my father, when I you know, I spend 30 minutes, you know, drinking tea with him, enjoying a chit chat with him, and I leave the exchange very happy and smiley, and I want to hug everybody, and with a lot of positivity. So I feel like that when there's an exchange of positivity, both parties are happy, versus when there is a complaining, unloading happening, both parties end up negative still, and one actually ends up more negative than they probably came into the exchange with. So that's unfortunate that you are actually causing pain to the other person in front of you rather than causing them joy and happiness. So yeah, break the habit of complaining, bring value to your life and the life of others, and find a different way to bring value, not through complaining. We as a family, we choose we choose adventure, we choose fun, we choose different methods of our energy exchange, whether it's, like I told you, you know, being excited about little things, being happy about little things, going for a walk, going on adventures, traveling. These are different ways where we exchange our energy, and it makes us happy. And at the end of the day, anything can be, you can find any scenario and complain about it. That's a given. If I go to the airport and the line at TSA is long, I can complain about that. I can complain about getting lost on the road when I'm driving somewhere. But at the end of the day, the more I complain about getting lost on the road, especially the road, I know that's a point where a lot of spouses argue, oh, you took the wrong turn and you took the right turn, and you know, you did all these mistakes. If think about it, if you don't make those mistakes, if you keep pointing those mistakes out, number one, your spouse is probably not going to want to travel with you anymore. Number two, how else are you going to be in a situation of making wrong turns? Like, you have to be traveling to do those, or you have to be on the road and traveling to be making those kinds of mistakes. So if you are constantly complaining, then you're not going to, it's like the way like I said, I'm very logical. So the way you break it down is, if you're going to argue about taking the wrong turns and GPS and all that, then you're probably going to make your spouse uncomfortable being around you when you are traveling and when you're adventuring. Then you're probably not going to travel so much. Then you're going to complain about why you don't travel and go on road trips or anything, all because you're constantly complaining about step number one, which was you took the wrong turn. How else are you gonna, you know, how else, like, it's all related. So it's better to, like, it's what ends up happening is, by taking the wrong turn, you constantly complaining about it, your spouse doesn't want to travel with you anymore. Now you definitely, you know, don't go anywhere, and then you're gonna complain about that too. So it's a cycle, and you need to break the habit. It's not worth it. Break the habit of complaining. It's not worth it. Bring value to your life, bring positivity to your life, bring positivity to the life of others. Find a better way. All right, take care, guys. Subscribe to our channel for more personal development content related to travel, adventure, and just in general being a more positive and happy person. All right, take care. Welcome to our channel if you're new, and please subscribe if you're not. All right, take care.